What is an unknown/unexpected perk about your job? I am the only woman that works for my company. I also work at night, my preference, and I'm the only person in my particular area. My job requires a lot of multitasking, which I've noticed the men I work with are not good at, not bashing men. Just something I've noticed in this job field. I can accomplish in 4 hours what they accomplish in 9. I also have flexible hours as long as I complete my tasks. So if I want to sleep in a couple days a week, no big deal. I listen to podcasts all night long as well. I have a really great boss. No micromanaging or strict oversight. He hired me into a new, higher paying role even though my experience was limited to on-the-job training. I also have a lot of free time, so I get an opportunity to do my grocery order, read Kindle books, and sometimes play The Sims now that I have my own office. Our campus has a cafeteria with decent prices for staff and decent food. Insurance benefits are good and I can take off whenever I need to attend appointments or if my kids are sick. I leave everything at the door when I go home and don't stress about work during my off hours. I have complete flexibility to take off when I want to. Need to leave early? No problem. Want to take tomorrow off? Sure thing. Something bad happened and I need a couple weeks. Done. I work a more traditional office job at a very busy law firm, but as long as I manage my docket properly, produce quality work and have coverage, I'm good. We have tons of PTO, and even though our department is small, we support each other. Nobody is in a competition and we have each other's backs for coverage. When people learn what I do, they think I must work constantly and be at the mercy of the attorneys all the time. Nope. What is your unpopular video game take? That any multiplayer game like Fortnite should have a single player room where you can learn how to play the game before being thrust onto a team of people who are going to be pissed at you for not knowing what the hell you're doing. One thing I've liked about World of Warcraft and the like is there's a learning curve, so you can work your way up to doing team shit instead of just dropping into a game where you don't know what controls do what but have to catch up quick. Elite gamers who constantly pressure developers to nerf or eliminate anything not skill-based are ruining games. Most people who play games are not pro gamers. Most of us are just casual gamers. We play games for fun, not hardcore competition. We're frankly tired of elite gamers having the ear of developers and getting them to alter games so that the performance gap between elite players and noobs is exaggerated. Moreover, it's not necessarily clear that the sort of skill the elite gamers are obsessed with is a more valid skill than any other. It's more likely that the elite gamers just want to buff any game mechanism that favors the particular sort of skill they're good at. Scale in game has gone down. I always compare it to Chrono Trigger. You get multiple time periods to explore, tons of consequences and side quests, and just a bunch of really nice main character-centric lore to find. I do like when a world is fleshed out, but I prefer to see how it affects my character and their immediate group more. I don't understand what people have against focused games like Life is Strange or Telltale's The Walking Dead. The term walking simulator even became the name of the Steam category, and I just don't see how you can hate these games so much. Video games aren't just a test of reflex, or a platform to insult strangers on. They can convey a story in ways that other media could never do, and if some people can't appreciate a good story, then just don't play it. What were we better at doing 100 years plus ago? Urban planning. Everything was built to be walkable or easily accessible by streetcar. Streets were tree-lined with dense housing and commercial streets at the end of the block. Now you have high-speed roads with parking lots and big box stores causing traffic and road rage. Need a car for everything, and culture has been drained from the city. Furniture was so much higher in quality a century ago that most people today do not even have the imagination to explore just how unbelievably superior it was. Not all furniture. Of course. There was cheap furniture too. But most of the cost-cutting measures hadn't been invented yet. And most furniture was still made with care by people who spent their lives doing this stuff. We were actually better at recycling 100 plus years ago than we are now. Mainly because they didn't have disposable things. Compost was a fact of life. And people would use things until they absolutely couldn't. So there was no throwing a jar out, for example. You would clean the jar and reuse it for storage or preserves. Organic waste wasn't thrown in the garbage can. It was tossed out into the compost and then used in the garden. Soap was made from ashes and animal fat. Or could be bought commercially. But there were a lot of rural people in the 20s still making their own soap. Bones could be sold to the bone man or used for stock. Aspic. Definitely handwriting. Back in the day, people put a lot of effort into penmanship and took pride in their writing. With the rise of technology, we've become more accustomed to typing. And our handwriting skills have taken a dive. Also, they seem to have a stronger sense of community. As people relied more on face-to-face interactions. And neighbors knew each other better. There's something to be said for genuine human connection outside of social media. They always have a sore throat. Even if they're not sick? Environmental allergies can cause this too. Yes, until I got my tonsils out. So worth it. Probably mouth breathing at night. Which could be tonsil issues/sinus issues/jaw issues/deviated septum issues. Could be dehydrated. I grew up with a sore throat every morning, and it went away entirely once I moved out of my very arid home state to a place with high humidity. I still get a sore throat every time I visit home. Definitely sounds like breathing through your mouth, not nose though. The night sinus surgery went a long way toward fixing this for me. You could be sleeping with your mouth open and your throat dries out a lot while you're asleep. This has happened to me a few times and it feels like you have a dry log shoved down your throat. Does that sound like what you're experiencing? I tried to make a conscious effort to keep my lips closed when falling asleep. But that made me grind my teeth a bit. Do you get a stuffy nose? Like after a glass or red wine? This could cause you to have little spells where you breathe through your mouth, causing the sore throat. Try a nasal spray before bed. And use a humidifier.